What's shaking there, my brothers of the briar, brothers and sisters of the briar, out in YouTube land? Piper Downs coming back with you guys. Typically I'd like to do like little Sunday smokes, little Sunday rambles, if you will. And, usually I've got some thought that I've been pondering or contemplating over the week. And, and I typically like to voice it. I've been doing that the last couple weekends anyway. But this week has just been crazy, especially this weekend. I've been really having some trouble coping with a customer, and the guy's just really has worn me down. And finally had to break it off with him, which is a shame, but I can't allow a person to be in my life that does, that makes me feel the way this guy does. But anyway, because, I've had all that stuff on my mind, I really haven't been thinking as hard as I typically do about other stuff like, life or pipe tobacco or pipes or whatever, And I was going to do a video about it, but it's just really not really all that. I mean, to me, it's too negative for me to do a video about all that happened. But so instead of a Sunday smoke and ramble, I decided to do a Sunday first impression, because I've got a couple of jars freed up that I've kind of moved some stuff around and had some unused jars I forgot about. So I decided I would do a first impression, and I did a video, kind of asking for some suggestions. I showed a selection of tobaccos that I have, and pretty much I only got a couple responses, but it was pretty much unanimous. The guys that did comment, they wanted to see plum cake. And actually, I know why. I know why they do, because there is definitely something special going on with this tobacco. It's an aromatic. It says Cavendish, Virginia, air-cured tobaccos, blended with a special black Cavendish, flavored with wine and spices following our 80-year-old recipe. And this is one of the rare instances where I did look up on tobacco reviews. I didn't look at any reviews per se, but I just looked at their description and their and what they had to say. They said, there's a plum topping, and that it's mainly a Virginia tobacco. It's like the European aromatic style where they use Virginias as the base. And really, I don't think, me as an American, and I think some other Americans don't really consider these as aromatics, because, American aromatics are a lot different. They're Cavendish or Burley. They don't typically use the Virginia base, it seems like. So anyway, but yeah, this is definitely a European style. And supposedly it's supposed to be a very complex mixture. So I can definitely see why you guys would want to see this particular one, because it definitely has a lot going on, ingredient-wise and flavor-wise, apparently. So I just think, it will make for a good, interesting video. And this is one that I did decide, yes, I definitely want to try that one. I definitely want to open that tin eventually. I guess I'm just going to go with sooner rather than later on it, opening this one. So I figure, I'll give it a good whiff here and see what's going on. If I can get the thing open without beating it up anyway, I hope. We got it open. Ooh, and the typical Germain's wax paper, and it already has some of that brownness coming through, which is nice. It's got a little bit of age on it. Man, right off the bat, very strong smells coming off of this stuff. Man, that smells sweet as all hell. Man, smells like a bag of fruit. Overripe oranges, maybe. It's like really dried candy fruit, or candied dried fruit, where they candy it, they add sugar to it or something. It's very, very sweet. And the composition looks really good, actually. It looks like maybe, like I said, this is like 80% Virginia, and you can clearly see that with all these brights that are in here. If I can just get this situated to where I can show you. See how bright that is? That looks really appetizing to me. We definitely have a little bit of crystallization on the tobacco. And, I figured this one was going to need, there's a little stem there. I figured this one was going to need some time to really dry. Yeah, definitely this stuff is Sam Gawith wet here. This is, ooh, man. Yeah, this is like wetter than Sam Gawith almost. You can see that it's obviously soaked to the gills here. But this is a really good looking tobacco, I must say. It has a really nice presentation. I think I'm going to enjoy this, and I'm not an aromatics guy at all. Like, I'm going to tell you, I actually tried Lane 1Q for the first time the other day. I mean, it tasted all right, like I could get those caramel flavors and stuff, but it was just bitey as all hell. It just was nothing special. Just not into it. I mean, I could see how some guys would like it, but to me, no, I'm not into it. Actually, I kind of put this away prematurely. Let me give it another whiff here. Man, that smells like just straight up fruit, pure fruit. Whew. Like big time. Like I said, overripe oranges, or like maybe even like a fruit puree. I don't know if you've ever or like smelled like organic or all natural fruit roll up type deals where they take fruit and they, real fruit, and they spread it out. That's what this reminds me of, those fruit chews that are all natural. Very fruity. And I think I see some Orientals in here, guys. Yeah, because, I seen a guy did a review of some tobacco a while ago, and he was saying how, he had green tobacco. There was green tobacco in this blend. I don't know what blend it was exactly. But that, when you see green tobacco, that's Orientals. That's a Turkish tobacco, because that is how certain Turkish tobacco comes out. That kind of pale, opaque green. It's a weird color. But I've seen it in Squadron Leader, and I've seen it in some other tobaccos too. That's what that is. If you ever see a greenish brown tobacco like this, I don't know if you can really get a good look at it, but it's like a greenish brown, and that's an Oriental. So I'm pretty sure that there's a really minute amount of Orientals, maybe possibly even an insignificant amount of Orientals in this. But to me, that's badass, that's just going to add to the complexity and the deliciousness of the blend, because we all like Orientals. I mean, well, I'm not going to say we all, but Orientals are a very fine, delicious, delectable tobacco. And this stuff looks really good. I can't wait to dry this. I'm letting it dry on a piece of paper. But and then I'm going to go ahead and pack it up and give it a shot. We'll see how it smokes here in a few minutes. Yeah, so we've got the plum cake here packed up in my meerschaum lined Grabo. For purity of taste. This is very different. It's very good. I really do like this. And I don't think I would really consider this an aromatic. It burns beautifully. It's got this excellent shag. I mean, it's called shag, but it's more of like a ribbon, but it has some coarse stuff in it actually, here and there. I don't know. It's kind of like an amalgam of all of them, a bunch of different cuts. And the beginning of the bowl, you get a sweet taste. I would say more of a spicy taste. That first light, I definitely got the Germain's characteristic um, moldy sea air flavor, which is good. It really is good. Only Germain's has it. It's in a good way. I think it's the air from the Jersey Isles. It's like a sea breeze. Burns wonderful. Definitely, I can taste like some citrus in it. In the beginning of the bowl, it's almost such a sharp, pungent, citrusy flavor that I get from the retrohale. And I've smelt it before, and I was having trouble figuring it out. At first, I was thinking eucalyptus, like vapor rub or something like that. But as I puffed more, I must have did 50 little. Sat here for like 2 minutes just straight, getting that flavor as best I could. And I think I think what it reminds me of is like walking into a room where somebody has just cleaned the room, or walking into the kitchen or something when somebody's just used a bunch of Lysol or Pine Sol. That's the kind of retrohale feeling I get. It's good. It is quite refreshing. I mean, I could definitely see smoking this, on a regular basis. It's got really nice characteristics, the smokability of it, and it smells really good. Tastes pretty good too. It's got a really different taste, and it goes pretty good. And that pine soliness, it's kind of mellowed out, around maybe a quarter or a third way through the bowl. Mellows out to a more perfumey, mellows out to a little bit more of a perfumey tobacco flavor. And there's something I can't quite put my finger on. I've smelt it before, I've gotten that sort of flavor profile before, but I can't figure out what it was. It's a very sharp flavor, sharp smell. I don't really get it on my tongue. I don't really get that flavor, but I get it in the retrohale. I really like this stuff, actually. I like Germain's take on aromatics. I mean, I really like the medium flake, and this stuff is really good too. It's got a really good cut, so it smokes really well. And it's basically a Virginia with maybe a little bit of Oriental and some Cavendish, some kind of a Cavendish, some kind of a dark tobacco, and a little bit of wine and spices, I believe, is and maybe even maybe a plum topping of some kind. Doesn't burn hot at all. Burns nice and cool. I dried it properly. I dried it down just right. I'm kind of getting some orange marmalade notes here. Mm. Some kind of a preserve, like an orange preserve or an orange marmalade. Mm. This is quite good. This is another one of those dessert tobaccos, like I was saying with Kingsbridge. I don't know. It just seems like it would be a really good smoke with like a liqueur or right after a dessert. Mm. Stuff is mighty good, mighty good. Mm. It's getting better. It's definitely getting better as I get through the bowl. It's more mellow as you progress into the bowl. At first, it was kind of loud, the everything that I was experiencing. It's kind of mellowed out to a nice perfumey Virginia. Seems like it's got a decent bit of tobacco or a decent bit of nicotine in it too. I'm kind of feeling the nicotine here. I have been doing a lot of retrohales though too. That may have something to do with it. I find retrohales to be the, to me that's where I get all the nicotine. I don't feel like I don't get as much from just puffing it with my mouth. Just doing retrohales really gives me a good dose of nicotine. Like when I smoke really high nicotine blends like Lakeland Dark by Sam Gawith. Like every time I do a retrohale, I'd be getting woozy. Not really bitey at all. I mean, it's not hot. It's definitely not hot, and I've been kind of pushing it. It's a little warm, but it's not crazy hot. It's burning down to a nice fine white ash. I wish you guys could see in there. Yeah, it's like a nice fine white ash. It's coming down to. Mm. I'm a sucker for these kind of Virginias for sure. You know, the base tobaccos they're using to make this aromatic and medium flake are just outstanding. And the toppings don't really take away from those Virginias. They more or less just enhance them without masking. And I can really appreciate blends like this because they have outstanding quality tobacco in them. I would recommend this. Now, if you're like a crazy American aromatic smoker and that's all you smoke and you love, Captain Black and all these, and Lane 1Q and Lane BCA and all these, and all the American aromatics, this probably isn't gonna, you'll probably be disappointed. But if you're like me, where you're not much of an aromatic guy, and all the American aromatics, they don't really suit you all that well, and you've been looking for an aromatic or something that's classified as an aromatic that you could enjoy after a meal or around people, I would definitely suggest taking a look at the medium flake or the plum cake. Um, they're really good Virginia blends that have toppings. And the nice thing is that, like I said, they're using really quality base tobaccos. So no matter what, it's a quality smoke. But anyway, I'm getting down to the bottom here. I hope you guys enjoyed the first impression. I definitely have. And, I hope you guys were able to, pull some good tidbits of information. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend. until next video, Piper Downs, over and out.